What is Section 498A? This is the law used for women who are facing harassment in their marriage. The harassment could be mental, physical, psychological cruelty by the husband, family members during the marriage. This is one of the biggest tools that is available to the women who are undergoing harassment. So why does somebody file a 498A? There are multiple reasons a woman in marriage can file 498A. The very first thing is things are not working well in the marriage. So now to take an revenge in terms of harassment, this section can be filed against the husband and the family members for cruelty. The second option is, since marriage is already not working, anyway we are going to come out of the marriage, let me extort the maximum amount of money from my husband so that by the fear of this law, it becomes much easier. The third thing basically is the family members are harassing and the wife wants to stay away from the family members, that is the in-laws. So what she can do is, once she files the case, she can on her terms guide and move the husband away from the family so the marital life can still continue. So these are some of the multiple reasons. The last but not the least is the marital laws. The Hindu Marriage Act is very cumbersome. Getting a divorce is like a lifelong thing. So if you file a harassment case, getting a divorce becomes much easier. So this law can also be used for that particular reason. Now, let us see some of the stats of this laws. So in a year, around 1 lakh cases of 498A under Section 498A IPC are filed. And from these cases, around 14% there is a conviction rate. So 14% of the people have been convicted in this case who have filed this case. However, if you see the other criminal laws in India, the IPC Act, the conviction rate is 45%. What does this tell? This tells that this particular law is highly misused. Because this law is misused against men, the High Court, the Supreme Court, the High Court has passed several judgments, and finally the Supreme Court passed a judgment that immediate arrest, automatic arrest cannot be made under Section 498A. To make an arrest, first the case has to go to the Welfare Committee. The Welfare Committee reviews the case, and based on the investigation, then only the arrest can happen. However, this is not valid if there is a death or if there is an injury during this filing of this cruelty during the period of the marriage and when the case is filed. So dear friends, remember, Section 498A is a very serious act. This act is non-bailable, you cannot get a bail, it is cognizable, the police can arrest you without a warrant, it is non-compoundable. That means once a complainant, that is your wife, files a case against you, the accused, the case cannot be pulled back by your wife. So this is a serious matter. So what are the options available to you? The very first option is, when things start going bad in marriage, you start to get vibes that your wife might file a false case against you to get out of the marriage or for other reasons which we discussed. The very first thing you can do is start collecting evidences. Evidences to prove that there is no harassment, evidences to prove that there is no demand for a dowry, could be evidences by SMS, emails, video calls, WhatsApp messages, whatever, like, or social media, things on social media which you can gather. So start collecting those evidences as early as possible. The second thing what you can do is, if the case is already filed, you can basically do immediate anticipatory bail. So go to the court, file an anticipatory bail under Section 438 CRPC. Other option which you have is you can go and quash the particular case in higher courts under Section 482 CRPC. This, you should gather all required evidences that the case is false. You should have solid things so that the court can pass that particular judgment. Other thing is, you can go and file an FIR. Again, like if you feel that you have sufficient evidences that your wife is filing a false case, blackmailing you, you can go and file an FIR. But this might not be that effective. If you want your wife to come back on your own terms, if she is false, she is wrong, then under under the Hindu Marriage Act section 9, you can go and file for restitution of conjugal rights. The other option you have is you can file for defamation under IPC 499, which gives the definition, and section 4, IPC 500 gives you the punishment, saying that your wife is trying to blackmail you, spoil your image by filing this particular case. So my friends, these are the various options. It's a very difficult time for people for whom this particular case is filed in a false manner, but please take this advice. If you like this video, subscribe down below. Thank you very much.